exiting, there are no black women coaches currently in the WNBA. And everybody trying to stop on each other. It's reckless for Matt to dismiss it as a cash grab. They're I've been on mute this whole time. Now I feel like I gotta start everything over. I was on mute this whole time. And there's still no sound? Stop. Can y'all hear me? Oh, yeah, no. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh my gosh. Should I start the intro? Look, I'm gonna start the intro video over. Now I just feel like I need to start all of this over. I was just talking just to talk. Oh my goodness. But okay. Welcome to the No Bull Podcast, or welcome back to the No Bull Podcast. I am your host, Brianna Bull, and I'm bringing you everything basketball. Because if you know bull, you know ball. All right, let's get into it. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm grateful. Praise the Lord. We have reached 600 subscribers. So if you heard those conga noises, that was that. So I'm just got her sound on, huh? I mean, sheesh. Okay. So yes, I hit 600 subscribers. So now we're on the road to 700 subscribers. I can't believe only in a few months we've made it this far. Literally, I just remember when I was talking to nobody and I was still having the same good time I am having now. So just y'all having y'all here is even better. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already, subscribe. But I appreciate all the loyal people who have stayed on this entire time. I didn't have sound. So let me get into it. Yes, I was wrapping y'all down, but we're just going to get right into it. Getting right into the first topic, which is this WNBA Civil War. And I've been calling it a civil war because it's between the WNBA and its players. And it's gotten pretty nasty. Recently, Napheesa Collier was on stage with the former vice president and the former president candidate. I don't know politics, okay? But she was on the stage with Kamala Harris during this conference for like people who have voices, who have stories to tell and voices that need to be heard. And obviously Napheesa Collier has a story for us. And she shared that story in her exit interview, which really sparked this controversy. And then recently, yesterday, she took stage with Kamala to tell why she did what she did. And it was right on time because during the panel, shout out to Man Down Sports. If you head over to Man Down Sports channel and you click on anything WNBA related, you will see a panel of 4 fabulous, beautiful ladies, myself included. And we discussed Cathy and Napheesa's, and we all had our own unique perspective to offer and bring to the table. And one of the questions I posed was, how long did Napheesa know about this? Was she holding on to this tidbit of information about Cathy? And why did she wait until now to bring it up? If she was really feeling like she was being oppressed or unfairly treated, why did she hold on to the information for so long? I wanted to know why. And how long did she have this information? And I guess the basketball ears were listening, and she came forth and she said why. All right, so that's the first thing I want to get into. I couldn't figure out how to do the audio, so I'm just gonna read it to you. But and again, it's a summit, and it's called A Day of Unreasonable Conversation. And it's a summit held for activists and storytellers. And right now, Napheesa fits into both of those modes. She's probably number 1 on the list of everybody wants to hear what Napheesa Collier has to say. And so she says, quote, "No matter the consequences, I felt like it was something that needed to be done." She goes on to say, "I've never had planned to do that," Collier told Harris. "I am on the union for CBA negotiations." She is the vice president of the WNBPA, the Women's National Basketball Players Association, which is one of the first unions that was established in women's professional sports ever. That was done by the WNBA, and she is the vice president, and Nneka Onwugamake is the president, okay? And Collier goes on to say, "And for so long, I felt like I saw what was going on behind closed doors. For so long, we tried to have these conversations and move the needle, and I saw nothing change." Collier goes on to say, "Coaches winning and losing alike were complaining about the same things over and over again, players over and over again, and we weren't seeing a change that our leadership was trying to make," Collier said. "Whether I was going to get annihilated for this, or people were going to support me, I felt what I was doing was right. I felt like it needed to be said." So she had strong convictions that she needed to get this out. And if you're wondering like what it is, if you don't remember, Collier had her exit interview and she said that Cathy had said, she said, he said, she said, she had said that players should be getting down on their knees and be grateful. So I'm curious, before I continue on with my monologue, I am curious to see what y'all thought about Monday and Napheesa getting on stage and telling her why. And mind you, that is not all Napheesa mentioned. She's been holding on to this since February. 7 months. She's been holding on to this. And she was going to wait. She said she was going to wait until the Minnesota Lynx season had ended. And she just said ended. So she couldn't see the future. She still was actually the favorite for the MVP candidacy. And she didn't know how the season was going to end, but she just knew she was going to do it when, I guess, at the exit interview, because that's when the season would end for her, you know? So I'm pretty sure she didn't anticipate her season ending the way that she did, but I'm sure it further helped her make her decision. She's pretty much saying she was going to make this statement regardless. So, I mean, keep in mind, what's interesting about the whole conversation around pay and the new CBA, if the WNBA finally does pay the players what they're worth, because my mind is thinking past this lockout situation. If the contracts grow, if the sponsorships expand and the travel improves, right? If the women get what they want, then what happens to Unrivaled? Because there was a WNBA exec, it was a rumor, and it said sources in this article that I found. Sources from a WNBA exec said that it's a conflict of interest what Napheesa did because she is the co-owner of the Unrivaled League. And they're essentially insinuating that Fee is using this as a strategic opportunity to lift her league up and promote her league and pull people away from the WNBA. She's like an opportunist. Now, hey, I'm not saying it. All I'm saying is they said this is a conflict of interest because you have a player. Keep in mind, you have a player who is one of the best players in the league, has a huge platform and following. Boom, that's one of her powers. Second power, she's on the union. Not only is she on the union, she's one of its leaders. And then the third, she's the owner of a competing league whose sole purpose of the league is to uplift players and show it's possible that they could get paid what they're owed and what they're deserved. That's why Unrivaled. It was built as a response. They played essentially what this Unrivaled League offers is fair treatment, fair play, fair pay, and fair shares. They're giving ownership to the women. They're pretty much giving the women everything that they wish the WNBA would give to them, right? And it's just like another source of income for the women since they're not making enough to just have this one job at the WNBA. But if the WNBA starts doing those things, then what would be the purpose of Unrivaled? And I'm not saying that as criticism. I actually think it's a great problem to have. All right. It means progress. But it just raises the question, does Unrivaled stay a rebellion or does it evolve into something else? Because right now it's positioned as leverage, especially when you have the owner who speaks out and says what she said about Cathy. And she said she was fed up, that she had to say it. She got tired of the injustices and she had to speak because this is what she thought was right. I just think right now, Unrivaled and Napheesa, they're in this like weird space where it's like half empowerment and half competition. And if the W really gets its house in order, Unrivaled might have to redefine its mission. Maybe it becomes a development league, or maybe a showcase, or maybe it keeps the pressure on the W so they don't slip back into its own selfish ways. Either way, the tension is growing. All right. And if the revolution, the women in this revolt, in their efforts, get what they want, I'm just curious, like, where do these two leagues go from here? Will they be able to like come together? Like, what's going on? What are y'all thoughts? We have maybe Unrivaled merge with the WNBA. Who knows? Mackin and Reaction. I think it's my first time seeing you in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Maybe it's the big three for the women. I don't know what that means. Could you further elaborate? What's up, Cheeto? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well today. But when WNBA salaries rise, does Unrivaled lose its purpose? Because we're hoping that the women get paid more, but then what's the point of Unrivaled? And then if Fee does continue on and Bree Stewart continues on with their league and pulling people over, I start to wonder, what did y'all really do this for? Another question I'm asking is, if you want a better leader who actually cares about you, because that would make you feel like showing up to work maybe, would you then be okay with not getting paid? Or do you want it all? You want it all. Because I think you deserve it all, absolutely. But if you remove Cathy, the owners are still got to be the ones who want to give up this money. And some of the leagues in the W aren't even in the black. They don't even have enough money to pay everybody. So, and if it just seems like a lot of moving pieces. Let's talk about the law aspect of everything so that we can maybe start formulating our own thoughts of the best resolution and pathway, even though it's like, why does it matter if we do that? But I think it does matter because we don't want to just talk about drama and we don't want to just talk about what she said, what she did. I'm looking for resolution here because as a fan, I want to watch basketball. I don't want there to be a lockout. I want them to get paid and I want them to have a good relationship. I don't want to hear no more that they think that they should be grateful. No, they should be grateful. I don't want to hear that crap no more. I just want to hear y'all play basketball. That's what I really want to hear. So I came across Sportico, which is a law analyst. It's paywalled though, so we're gonna infer. But it's laying out like a chessboard for the WNBA's upcoming labor dispute. And when I say upcoming, I'm referring to the October 31st deadline, which they could obviously get extensions. But I want to talk about antitrust claims, injunctions, lockout timing, jurisdiction battles, public narratives. Whew! This isn't just about the numbers, y'all. This is strategy. And if Napheesa didn't tell anybody she was going to do this, I know that if she's an owner of a competing league and she's this and she's that, there's no way she didn't consult with a lawyer before doing what she did, or her PR representative, or her husband, who is also a part of the owner of Unrivaled, by the way. It just seems like a lot of strategy going on here on both ends, because even Cathy used multiple times in her conference, she said good faith negotiations, and good faith has something to do with the laws. Okay, I was reading it and I was trying not to get confused, but I wanted to break it down. So what the league may try to do is argue a single entity, meaning teams are not independent. And thus, because they're all franchises, you have to pay a franchise fee in order to buy into the league. So the teams are not independent, and thus many antitrust claims can get blocked. The players, through the union, may contend the teams act independently. So a player can contend a teams act that's held against them from the league as an independent person, competing in markets, recruiting players, building rosters. If that argument can get traction, then the players can challenge restrictive practices like movement limits or punitive clauses. And so far what I'm getting at is that if they can't reach an agreement, then the court of law is going to reach an agreement for them. and a part of the strategy, because every state is different, the league can try to fight these battles in certain states that may favor them. And the same could be for the ladies as well. So it's a lot of moving pieces. It's a lot. So moving to the unfair labor practice filings, because there's the ULP filings. And so the NLRB, which is, I think it's the National Labor. Oh gosh, I wrote it down somewhere. It's a lot to keep up with. Okay, the NLRB. I'll find where that thing is. But so they pretty much regulate the like the labor practices and stuff, right? And so you can file unfair labor practice, and if the players accuse the league of refusing to bargain in good faith, that's why Cathy, there's the good faith word. Cathy kept saying it. We're negotiating in good faith. We're negotiating in good faith. Or the league can accuse the players of bad behavior in organizing actions. We can see formal complaints and law interventions. It could get even nastier than like just these petty back and forth narratives we're seeing. Don't let all this stuff distract you, okay? And the lockout is just rhetoric, because under certain legal structures, the league could legally lock out players if the CBA expires without an agreement. Sports leagues often use lockout timing as leverage. We've seen it in the MLB and the NFL specifically. Another angle to all of this is venue and jurisdiction clauses. So if the league can force disputes into courts they favor, like I was saying earlier, they might gain a procedural edge between substantiated law, if even considered. Whew. And last but not least, the nightmare of all this, the main thing that drives, because it's what the public thinks of you these days. I mean, I think it's always been like that. That's why like propaganda is so important and stuff. But what people actually think, because right now everybody hates Cathy. The majority hate Cathy. The majority think she should be excommunicado. She's doing a terrible job. It's all her fault. That's what everybody is saying right now, okay? That is PR strategy built into legal tactics. Yes, she's being a terrible boss, and she's being also accused of being a terrible person. But leaks, timing of statements, aligning legal filings with major gains in media narratives, that's leverage. Like this Unrivaled league. If you notice in Fee's exit interview, there was some time she plugged in her league, Unrivaled. She plugged it in. Now, again, I'm not choosing sides. You know what side I'm on? I'm on basketball side. I don't want to see a lockout. I really don't. I just think that the stakes have been extremely raised at this point, almost to like they've gone to hell. So where do they go from here? And whatever happens with however this plays out, I think this is going to have decades of impact on the WNBA. Decades of impact. Because if the leadership underestimates this, they could lose more than a season. They could risk their credibility, fan trust, and structural damage. That brings me to the next part of this conversation. Adam Silver. I mean, I said a lot just now, and it was a lot to digest. I'll check the comments, give you a moment to think. I know I was just like, oh my gosh. What's up? Welcome everyone to the chat. Glad you're here. All my returners. Let's see. April G said, it wasn't a conflict of interest last season, even when shares were offered to the organization who had to decline because WNBA rules. Nothing in the old CBA saying players couldn't start a league. Right. That wasn't in the old negotiations, but the women left themselves vulnerable when they declined to re-sign those agreements and negotiations. Something tells me it's a possibility that in these new negotiations, the WNBA, and this is all assumption, but based on how the women are acting, I'm assuming that a part of these negotiations, the owners took it behooved them. I'm pretty sure whoever's top dog sat down and said it would behoove y'all to include something about this Unrivaled league in the negotiation to prevent this league from eventually growing to be bigger than the WNBA. Because the potential of it obviously is there. Look at all the big names that are already backing it, and look how enraged all the players are at this point. They're upset that their leader said what they said, all because of the owner of the Unrivaled league exposing it, holding on to this information, being privy to how their boss is moving. And I'm sure they all have felt it in some type of capacity from Cathy and just weren't saying nothing, but she further fueled this, right? So I'm pretty sure in these negotiations, neither side, probably both sides are losing something. I bet the owners are like, all right, if we're going to give up this owner stake, well, you can't have both then. You got to give us a little bit of Unrivaled then. That's just my assumption, but that's because of the conflict of interest. So maybe Fee got herself backed into a corner and she used PR to her advantage. Who knows? Because she made her comment yesterday. She said, I could get annihilated. I don't think she was talking about from the fans. I think she knew we were going to receive this really well, because what human being would want to see another human being treated like that? Unless you're like a psychopath. So she knew what she was doing in that aspect, but she also knew the retaliation of the league and what that could mean. So it was a risky move. It was very risky, but she did it, and now we're here. And I'm wondering where it's gonna go because it's gonna shape the league forever. This was a huge power play, and I'm really curious to see. And I'll be honest with y'all, I think it had a little the motives with what she did had something to do with Unrivaled, and that makes sense because the mission of Unrivaled is for the benefit of the players for sure. 100%. That's great. What does that say for the W? I would love for the W to get better leadership, but the NBA and the WNBA have been pieces of crap for a long time. But to see those two leagues get abolished would suck. Is that really what we want as fans? Or do we want it to just get better? I'm all for the hope. I want to talk about what Adam Silver said. Because me personally, we could have went without hearing from him. But I'm thinking maybe some people did want to hear from him. I'm personally, as a fan, curious how much power does Adam Silver have regarding the WNBA in general? Because I know there's so many owners who own the WNBA. So I'm curious, like, what does his influence and power being at the helm in the league for so long, how deep does his pockets go? You see what I'm saying? Like, how much is he bought into the league, and if there's any conflict of interest, and like, because I'm pretty sure Cathy has nothing to do with Adam Silver's global expansion plans and whatever he got going on with the players. Cathy is not in those conversations, but because unfortunately men run women in the professional space, I'm pretty sure something's telling me deep down in my gut that Adam Silver is in those meetings with Cathy. Something is telling me they having dinner. They had dinner together recently. You feel what I'm saying? They had breakfast. Or maybe the men treat maybe Cathy low key doesn't get respected from anybody. The players, the fans, or the men behind the calling the shots. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is Adam Silver at the NBC, it was like an NBC there, so NBC Sports headquarters, he was asked about it, and he made some remarks. He said, Cathy Engelbert has presided over historic growth in the league, but there's no question that there's issues we need to address with our players. Okay, hold on, because he says we need to address with our players. I guess, is he talking about the NBA or the WNBA when he says we? Silver said, they're not just economic, they're relationship issues as well. I'm confident we can fix those over time, and this league can continue to be on the rocket trajectory that it's on right now. Yeah, that just sounded like he was like, Cathy, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to dress up a nice little statement for real. I got you. What do y'all think? Let me check the comments. Should Stephen A. Smith be forced to sell his podcast because he works for ESPN? Bree, would you sell your podcast if you got a job offer from ESPN, even though your podcast would improve your future salary? That is such a great question. Would I, if ESPN offered me a job, would I sell my podcast because it would be like a conflict of interest question mark? If they said I couldn't have my podcast, I would be like, well, like, what do y'all want me working for y'all for? Like, what am I doing? What's my job? What's my role? But I don't know if I want to sell my soul to ESPN. I think Malika's doing a great job. I'm not saying she sold her soul, but I'm just saying, like, ESPN, I think I can dream bigger than that, But I see the premise of your question. Because I look at it like, if I'm this great, I can go anywhere and just keep it going. Like, my future salary is just not in the hands of this podcast and stuff like that. But that's a hard question to answer. But no. Real Money said WNBA has turned into a daily soap opera, reality television. JT said, don't tell Fee anything. If she gets mad, she telling. 100%. She's snitching. No, that's funny. WB said Fee and Stewie will have to divest. Chicago Cheetah said Fee should retire from the union. April G said, in my opinion, the players don't want that added to the new CBA because that would be the end of Unrivaled. Players know Cathy will add that part in the new CBA and want her gone. That's what I'm saying. Like, all of this is strategy. So I feel, because one of the things I said in the panel now, I'm a female, I'm emotional. You know, females have their ways. They want to be comfort. They want to know that who they're working for them cares for them. I'm not saying men don't either, but I asked this question. I said, is Adam Silver texting any man who gets hurt in the league? Is he sending Fred VanVleet a text message asking him if he's okay? I mean, my boss, my manager, so I have a director, a manager, supervisor, whatever. My manager, the reason that she knows if I'm sick because I work under her every day. So my manager, like my coach, I would expect a text from her. I would not expect a text from my director. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. When I mentioned Sophie Cunningham and her injury and her sister try to leverage that injury, but if you play back the clip of the injury, the lack of refs had nothing to do with the injury, but because she had a season-ending injury, she was an opportunist, and she strategically, somebody's telling these women, okay, this is the perfect time to take advantage. You're hurt, the season's ending, injury. Let them know it's the WNBA fault. Even though if you watch the clip back, I don't think, even if the ref would have called the foul or not called the foul, she would have got hurt. It was a complete uncontrollable. Fast forward to Fee's injury. Alyssa Thomas, it was a clean steal. We could argue that all day, but I watched it. I didn't think it had anything to do with the officiating, that particular injury. So if you're saying you got injured and you're upset she didn't reach out to you about it, and you consider that to be good leadership, okay. I don't know about that. That's all. But if Cathy has been making promises to these women since the beginning, they probably all get together in a room. It's only about 150 of them. They get together in a room, and I'm pretty sure Cathy stands up there and she says, she's talking to women. I care about you. I'm gonna fight for you. I got your back. And then it doesn't feel like she has her back. That's understandable. Adam Silver made it a point to talk about broken relationships and they have to be repaired. Will this repair include both sides getting what they want? Is the grounds of this repair gonna be people getting what they want? Because if they get what they want, because that's the point I'm trying to make. Is it about getting a good leader in the helm, or is it about just getting what you deserve? Because I keep saying this, you take Cathy away, you're still not going to get what you deserve because she's not the main one preventing it from happening. She's just the mouthpiece for it. You want someone who's going to get up in your face and be like, I care about you, but behind the scenes, whatever, as long as you feel like someone cares about you because they texted you and you good. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? It's so many moving pieces. So many moving pieces. But I just wanted to know, do you think Adam Silver did his latest comments? Do you think that they helped or hurt anything? Me personally, we could have went the rest of our lives without hearing that statement because obviously, Adam, and then I guess what stands out to me is what he said was we. He said we, as in, how much power do you have in the WNBA? Because we both know y'all both whack as commissioners. We would like anybody else to be in those seats. Absolutely. 100%. So when Adam Silver says there's relationship issues, we need to work to build the trust. I'm just curious. We need to address with our players. So it's no question that the WNBA is going through growing pains, and it's unfortunate that it's gotten this far. But there's more important things like the WNBA Finals. Let's talk about that because I'm over talking about these people for right now. Let's move on. Let's move on because we gonna hear about it tomorrow, the day after, the day after. Halloween's coming up. I might dress up as Cathy Engelbert and scare some people. I don't know. Let's see. I might dress up as Fee. Okay. WNBA Finals Game 3. It is on ESPN tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Phoenix Mercury. I was going to say the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury versus host the Las Vegas Aces. And boy, are we all excited. Now, I dropped a poll. Let's find that poll. Go to the post on my page, and could one of my moderators please go find the post and copy the link to the post? Is that possible? Can you copy the link and drop it in the chat? I wanted to share with you all what other people have said who's going to win game 3 tomorrow. So I dropped that poll, and I love to share where the results are now. And go ahead, get your results in. Get them in. So I'm pulling it up now. Pulling the post up. I might just post a link too. So far, it's at a deadlock. 50%. 50-50 right now. Okay. I'm copying the link to that. Pulling it back over here. Thank you, Tulip. Tulip just dropped the link. Make sure you go put your vote in. While I go ahead, put your vote in, I'm going to plug my computer up. So check the link in the chat. Make sure you check the link in the chat. Go check that post out specifically. I dropped the specific link to the specific poll, and make sure you go submit your answers. And then, I'll come back and see what y'all thoughts are. Back like I never left. It just needed to plug computer in. Okay, so yeah, let's check and see where the results are now that you voted. Make sure you go get your votes in. And I drop quizzes on a daily. If you want to scroll through my post on my channel, you'll see I have quizzes like who was the first woman ever to dunk, which coach has the most WNBA championships. My recent quiz was which WNBA team was the first to go undefeated at home during the regular season. So I oftentimes drop quizzes, like maybe you're at work or you want to test your knowledge on the league, basketball. I thought that'd be fun for y'all. So I drop that every once in a while. So we got 3 more votes in, total of 11 votes. Right now we have, drum roll. Can y'all believe this? I can't. The Mercury. 55% of y'all think the Mercury will not lose 3 in a row. They leaving here with something. I'm leaving here with something. Or do you think the Las Vegas Aces will win? Let's talk about it. So, both of these teams, like we said, we talked about before, they played each other 4 times in the regular season, and the Phoenix Mercury lost 3 out of the 4 of those times. One of the times they got blown out, torn up, and we just seen that happen in game 2. It was pitiful. If I could describe it in one word, it was pitiful. All-star Satu Sabali was just out there jacking threes off the first pass. Like, they were only down by 5 at one point at the start of the 4th quarter. So some of that, or start of the 3rd quarter, I didn't understand why she was rushing shots when they were only down by 5. When they've already demonstrated to each other, not just to us, but to each other, that they could chip away until they come back and beat a team down 20. So why did they deviate away from their normal game plan? Kobe said 80% mental. Clearly, Alyssa Thomas was her mind was gone. I want to shout out Dewana Bonner, her wife, and I want to shout out Kalia Copper, specifically Kalia, and then Dewana to follow, because those 2 ladies, I felt like held it down for the team, at least trying what they could to to not get completely, I mean, they got destroyed. I mean, they did what they could. They showed up for work that day. Let's just put it that way. But I mean, shout out to Jackie Young and Asia Wilson for their 60-point combined performance. And I'm curious to see if the Aces do win this, who are y'all gonna give the MVP finals to? I would want it to be Jackie. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think they're gonna give it to Asia if Jackie keep playing the way she do. But you know, Asia could definitely make history. Well, she wouldn't be the first ever to do this, but to win Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, championship, and MVP of the season. Whew, I could have kept going. That would be pretty huge. But Jackie Young, man, she definitely giving us something to think about. I'm going to refresh the poll one more time and see what y'all thought. Okay. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're digging the content. I appreciate all of your support tuning in here while we talk everything basketball. Because if you know bull, you know ball. Now, for adjustments for the Phoenix Mercury, what are they gonna have to do? What I think they should do, and this is a little risky, but I mean, Chelsea Gray, I think, is going to continue to be a fabulous playmaker for the Aces. For me, I'm going to try to ease up the pressure maybe on Kirsten Bells. Now, she hit a 3, maybe 2. I got to check the box score, but she did hit at least 1 3 in the game. And I'm not saying like just leave her open cuz she not going to show up, but I would definitely take less kind of like how they take less pressure off of Dawana. Don't put so much pressure on Kirsten. I mean, I want them all active in the paint and things like that. But what Phoenix needs to do, if they do turn the ball, manage to force turnovers, which they're capable of doing that against this Indiana Fever team. Indiana Fever team against this Las Vegas Aces team, they're capable, but they haven't been capitalizing. Whereas though the Aces, I mean, their turnovers, they're not even forcing the turnovers. That's how I know the Phoenix mind isn't in it. They're just turning the ball over, unforced sometimes. Another thing that I forgot about this matchup in two teams, what I did not give the Aces enough credit for was their final experience. I mean, the Phoenix Mercury has never been in this situation before. So it's no wonder Becky Hammond is out coaching Nate. It's no wonder that these women who've already seen championships together, not only seen them, but seen them together, are managing to do what they're doing in the heat of the moment. You see what I'm saying? So the championship experience between the other each team, it's unmatched. The Aces are all the way up here when it comes to their championship experience. So I didn't think about that as much as I wish I could have considered, or maybe I wouldn't have gone so hard for Phoenix Mercury. But I have a Alyssa Thomas bias, so there's that. Let's see. Tulip says, Sammy has forgotten how to shoot. I absolutely could not agree more. Sammy Whitcomb, I understand she kind of experienced an injury, but she has been cold even before that. We haven't seen a good game from her since Minnesota series. And we know she can show up in those moments. I mean, we need to see more from Sammy Whitcomb. And she's getting torched by Jackie Young. Whoever ever assigns her to that, they dead wrong for that. They was dead wrong. Satu's inconsistent. She absolutely is. And AT has not been at her best. I mean, Tulip's just going ham right now in the comments. I love to hear other people's takes and thoughts regarding what the Phoenix can do in this game 3. Looking at the poll, a lot of more people are believing that Phoenix aren't going to let themselves lose this much. But for some reason, against this Las Vegas Aces team, they do not show up. There's something about this matchup that scares the Phoenix Mercury. I mean, they're usually the more aggressive team. They're usually the more active team. Like they're usually in control of the tempo of the game. But what I've noticed about this Las Vegas Aces team is they didn't necessarily slow the tempo down. They matched the tempo, and they did it really well. The Phoenix Mercury just kind of looked like sitting ducks. Drew Lloyd been cooking him, and I'm glad you brought that up because the bench. I'm concerned. This is another testament to finals. Like the New York Knicks would never really make it to the finals with the type of team that they had because they didn't have no bench. The bench is crucial. We're noticing that Phoenix Mercury obviously doesn't trust its players. I mean, they put Wellsbelt in. My lord, they put her in because his starters were in foul trouble. He wasn't putting him in because he trusts Westbelt to do something. I mean, and then when you bring Sammy Wickham off the bench just to shoot, and she's not hitting, and she's not even able to stay in front of any player on this Aces team, then what the hell are you in for? So then Nate is just like, damn, I don't know. One thing when somebody said he was mic'd up, so he was just like talking out the side of his mouth. But one of the things he said to his players, he said they asked him like on, when they have them mic'd up and they were asking him questions going into like a quarter or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I just told my players to be themselves. And this is when they were down like 15. You told them to go out there and be themselves? Okay. No adjustments. You didn't tell them to make any adjustments. You just said keep being yourself. Oh my god. Yeah. Henry T. Hurley said, with the ref not allowing as much physicality as other series is a disadvantage to the Phoenix Mercury. 100% agree. 100%. Because we have AT. I love her to death, but she does play bully ball. Bully ball. That's what she plays. And Satu plays it too. Dawana, have y'all noticed that Dawana isn't as aggressive as she was in the regular season? I just remember Dawana attacking a little bit more. I remember seeing her with the mismatch putting somebody in the post. So I'm just confused. Why did she go away from that? Also, now Natasha Mack is getting cooked by Asia. So if Alyssa Thomas gets in foul trouble, they're cooked. So it's a good chance that the rest might be on Phoenix Mercury's side heading into this game. But looking at the series as a whole, the Aces have been able to make it to the line more times than the Phoenix Mercury. However, when you foul people like AT, I mean, yikes. Satu shoots well from the line. Collier shoots well from the line. But there's nobody else getting to the line. That tells me this team is not being aggressive enough, which is their normal staple. And if it's because of the refs, that's a cop-out. It's because of those women. They need to show up. I'm a little concerned for them because it's no way. Teams barely come back 2-1. There's no way they're coming back 3-0. They're going to have to, I don't know, miracles. I believe in them. But this is the first time we're seeing the best of 7 series. So we don't really know, based on history, if it's been done before in the women's league and what it would take. And we've seen it done in the NBA, but who was there at the helm? Just saying. And I don't even really bang with Bron like that. But thank you all for joining. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate the activity in the chat. If you haven't already, drop a like. If you're enjoying this content, again, I'm Brianna Bull. I'm the host of this No Bull podcast. If you know Bull, you know ball. WB said Dawana don't want to play no more. Would you want to play with your wife? There was one point, because AT was pissed. Dawana was like, I don't know what Dawana said because you can only see AT's face. And AT gave her the side eye, and she said, I'm fine. So I'm imagining Dawana was like, calm down or relax or whatever. Like, don't get so worked. I don't know what she said, but AT was like, girl, hush. Girl, dookie. I'm from Baltimore, so people be like, girl, dookie. Okay, let's just keep going. Okay, but yes, WNBA Finals Game 3. Can Phoenix stop the sweep? Can they? Imagine, April G said, imagine if the finals were the best of 5 like last season. Whew. This game would be crucial. I mean, this game is crucial regardless for Phoenix. But if they can't even grab this win at home, it ain't looking good at all. Henry T. Hurley said the Aces had the ability to switch on defense without helping on the mismatch. Plus, that 2-3 zone got AT going crazy. And I like it when teams go zone. I don't see any problem with teams going zone. I don't think a team should get comfortable in zone, but that doesn't take away from their defense ability. If a zone works against a team, then by all means, do it. Now, with the Phoenix Mercury, because they're so streaky, there is a chance that Satu might show up and Sammy might show up. That zone might not be a good idea. But I'm definitely all for doing the zone. But yeah. Either way, I think it's going to be a really great game, and I look forward to watching. Hopefully, it won't be a blowout. Please, Lord. Whoever wins or loses, we just don't want to see a blowout. We want to see really good basketball. And again, make sure you tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN to catch Game 3 of the 2025 WNBA Finals. Now, let's move on to our final topic, which is the NBA. And there's some news that I wanted to share that have been going around that I found interesting. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to share this news with y'all. First things first, let's talk about Jason Tatum. So I'm not even going to speak too much about it. It's going to be really quick, but he's making similar moves to what we saw Damian Lillard, who's out on the same injury on his Achilles, and he became the president or director of his college. And now Jason Tatum, shout out to Duke, the Blue Devils, he has just accepted the chief basketball officer of Duke basketball. So he's going to be like an executive person of some sort. I've seen in some articles that he's volunteering, but whether he gets paid or not, I think that's really dope that he's taking his off-season time and he's doing something with it. All right. So I wanted to share that with y'all if you haven't heard already. Next thing on the NBA news docket is obviously the NBA preseason. Have you caught any games yet? Have you been watching? I've been looking. Some teams I'm not all the way sold on, despite them having made amazing offseason moves. And other teams have shocked me. And then there's teams that I'm like, yep, you're even better than what I thought. You even better than what I thought. I want to talk about some notable, I think, like big names that people are tracking the most right now, starting with Al Horford, who has made his way and officially signed with the Golden State Warriors. I think this was a huge win for Golden State because with his debut in just 14 minutes, he had 3 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal in 14 minutes. This old man, no offense, Al, this champion, he got a lot of engine left in him. His defensive presence, his passing, and his size are being praised as a seamless fit. Maybe this is the foundational big that Golden State so desperately needed for so long. Trace Jackson Davis, he did okay, but he's not going to shoot a 3 in the corner like Big Al. You feel me? Quentin Post, he cool, but he don't have that veteran knowledge like Al. And who else was there? Kevon Looney, he gone. They missed out on the opportunity to pour into him, but they better not sell out Horford short. The Warriors definitely locked up on this, and I can't wait to see how he's going to play alongside Steph and Jimmy Butler. Next on the docket, that person that is a highlight, we're all excited to see him. He had his shoulder injury, his blood clot, 7 foot, whatever, alien guy, Victor Wembanyama. He had a strong showing for the Spurs in their preseason opener versus Gonzaga. Sorry, I butchered that. But he had 9 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. He damn near had a triple-double. And he didn't even play that much. It was scary. Scary. Now, I was second pick in a draft last year, and I was second pick in the draft last year, and I picked Victor Wembanyama. So when he got that injury, I was like, damn. I should have just picked SGA. Because obviously the first person they picked Joker. But I should have just picked SGA. But anyway, Wemby is a huge fantasy grab, but just be weary that that man could go down and you just don't know. But you got to take risks like that. But he will dominate in a fantasy league. But those numbers are insane. I think the Spurs look really good overall. I'm really excited to see this Spurs team. I think they could end up being top 10, if not top 5 this year. And I could be getting ahead of myself, but I watch basketball and I seen something special in that team. And if Victor can stay healthy, they're going to be a problem. Okay, moving on. Cooper Flag. This is who I've been excited to talk about. The Mavericks. They looked so good. You kind of caught a glimpse of their starting lineup. Some D-Lo AD action. They've already been teammates. You feel what I'm saying? Like, ooh, it's spicy. But Cooper Flag was who I was most excited to see. That guy looks like he's been playing basketball in the league for years. Am I getting ahead of myself? And not only that, he's just like a humble guy off the court. Like, he's a chill guy. Like, he's a smart guy. He looks like he really cares about the game. Like, he really just cares about being good and actually playing as a team. He just has this something about him that I think is special as a player that the game needs at his age. This is who I want, a young man at his age. That's the type of person I want them to look up to, not Ace Bailey. Okay, no. Not even Anthony Edwards. No offense, AE. But a Cooper Flag is a player that I'm like, yo, you see what he's doing right now? You see that? He was making plays for his team. Like he has this dribble package. He can shoot the ball. He can penetrate, get in the middle, find players on the cut. He plays smart. And he's big, he's tough. And he didn't even play that much, but they played against OKC and they beat OKC. They blew OKC out. And I just want to acknowledge his floor spacing ability, his defensive hustle, and just again how he kind of carries himself. I think it's really dope. He didn't need to score that much. I mean, he hit a 3. I didn't see. I might have missed anything else he did, but I really enjoy watching the team play overall. And that I got Dallas Mavericks at least 2 this year, top 5 for sure in the West, no doubt. Overall in the league, top 5 too. Yeah, I'm hopping on that train. Dallas is lit. Houston is okay. That's one of the teams. Oh gosh, that's one of the teams that I would say did not impress me that much. It did not do it for me. I was just like, and I know KD didn't play, and I know they don't have Fred, so they're still trying to sort out their point guard. But I was watching them, and I just wasn't. Jabari always stands out to me. Jabari is really good, and him and KD, they're going to play really well together. And Steven Adams obviously came in there and did what Steven Adams usually can do. But there was just some times where I saw the Hawks bodying them. Jalen Johnson was bodying them. And I'm like, maybe he was just trying to draw the offensive foul. I'll give him that. But I liked how Dyson Daniels looked. Trae Young looked like he was comfortable. The Hawks still just I don't know what they're missing, but they're going to be the Hawks this year. You know what I mean? They're going to be the Hawks, but they might surprise us, but I don't know. But I don't know. I looked at this Houston team, and out of the 3 teams in Texas right now, because Texas is lit, I'm gonna rank just based on preseason. Things are obviously going to change when the season starts, but based on like each piece that each of the teams have, their leadership, I got the Mavericks, Spurs, Houston. That's my order of Texas right now, of who's the best and who's going to end up having a better season. That's what I'm looking at. But again, I know preseason doesn't hold any weight, y'all. I get it. But we do need to look at these things, how players are coming out, how they're already working together, their chemistry. All of that matters. It sets the tone. We're setting tones here. Another notable call out that I wanted to talk about was VJ Edgecombe. Obviously, he's been garnishing a lot of attention, even when it was the summer league. And now in this preseason, he's continuing on with his play. So with this Sixers team, I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. He had in his recent game, he had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. That's not bad. And again, it's just preseason. So just checking out the comments, trying to multitask. I thank you all for joining, dropping your take. Make sure you drop your take. Please drop your take. I want to hear what you have to say. What's up, Tony? Happy Tuesday, ma'am. It's good to see you. Glad to have you here. Just talking some NBA basketball. Let's keep going to wrap up this entire stream. We are going to discuss LeBron James. We're not going to spend too much time on it. All right. But I did want to talk about LeBron and his recent, the whole decisions of all decisions thing. Because it's so on brand for Braun. This is on brand. I don't know. Some people were shocked. I don't know why y'all shocked. Like, we knew this was coming. It wasn't like we were just going to wake up one day and get a notification of his decision. He has all of the cards in his hand. Do you really think he was going to miss the opportunity to do a cliffhanger? Absolutely not. It's dramatic, it's mysterious, and obviously it's calculated. And the internet went crazy thinking it was going to be some huge career move, maybe retirement, maybe a trade. But let's be real. LeBron already opted into his $52 million deal with the Lakers. I don't think he's going anywhere. I just think that this whole buildup feels like a rollout, like a brand play. And he knows how to control the narrative better than anyone in sports. It's just been his brand this whole time. Like, come on. He's the king. Not only in his mind, he's the king of the league, of the world, of whatever he thinks he's king of. I think he's the king of anticipation. But he does have what is that? What is the word called when he has like this no trade clause? It's no trade clause. So they can't just trade LeBron without his permission. So he has the ability to deny any type of trades that a team wants. He has to be involved in those conversations before he could be traded. Again, he holds all the cards. All right. And I think he already knows what he wants to do, but it's just a matter of the timing of when he's going to say it. And I'm curious to know, like, once we hear it, it's all going to make sense. It's all going to make sense. But when you heard him do the play up, did you think he was foreshadowing to anything? What are your thoughts? Is this decision 2.0 or is this distraction 2.0? I just think it is pretty cool, though, that he's 40 years old. He's been in the league this long, and he has very few players have this no trade clause opportunity, and LeBron does. And obviously, he uses it to shape his own narrative because obviously there's been so many rumors. One of the recent rumors I seen, because I have Google alerts set, so I set my Google alerts to NBA rumors. I'm always trying to stay up to date on the rumor mill. Some of those things can be true. And one of the rumors, and I've seen it, and it's weird. You'll either see like Lakers, Cavs, Mavs sometimes. But I saw this Mavs, and they were already trying to decide who on the Mavs team would be packaged up to be traded. The Mavs don't need LeBron. LeBron is not going to finish his tenure with the Mavericks. Come on. Do y'all really think LeBron wants to win another chip? Do you think that that's on his mind? I don't think so. I don't think he's chasing a chip. And if he was chasing it, he's not going to take a risk on the Mavericks. Sorry. And I don't say it like the Mavericks aren't good, but that just seems really odd. That would be just so odd of him. this is just a PR stunt with LeBron. I was just curious what y'all thoughts were. Maybe you had an idea of what might happen at least this season, or do you think this decision is going to be made after the season? We just don't know. We just know that LeBron has all the power, and he dropped a commercial to remind us of how much power he has. That's what LeBron did. So is that really news? Am I really delivering anything we already didn't know? Yeah. Okay. So, but I'm always grateful to be able to talk basketball with you all. Again, I just hit 600 subs. I'm super grateful for you. I'm grateful for the Lord, because I just started. I remember a couple months ago, I was just in my basement talking to nobody. Literally nobody. And I wake up today and there's 19 of y'all in the chat right now. Like, I just want you to understand, like, if you're somebody sitting there and you want to go and do something, just do it. I woke up one day and I just did it. Basketball taught me how to love, so I made a channel about it, and now we're here. And I'm grateful. I'm truly, truly grateful. So now we're on the road to 700. And if you are new to this channel, just know I cover the WNBA. I cover the NBA. I just love to talk basketball. Yes, there's news going around happening. Make sure you rewind the live back if you want to check out my thoughts about the WNBA's current controversy, or if you want to hear my reaction, my thoughts, my preview of the WNBA Finals Game 3 tomorrow, and even of the entire series, or if you want to hear some news about the NBA from my perspective as well. Check the channel out. Subscribe, drop a like if you've enjoyed it. And lately I've been dropping videos and perspectives that people have been disagreeing about. And I enjoy that too, because we all have something to offer. And at the end of the day, I just love talking basketball. So keep the conversations going. Let's have thought-provoking conversations, expanding our minds, and keep enjoying the game. So I appreciate you all. Again, I'm Brianna Bull, host of the No Bull podcast, where we talk everything basketball. And if you know bull, you know ball. And I'll catch y'all on the next stream. Take care.